Hey guys, welcome back. Another informative video in regards to what currently is going on in the Pokemon world, and probably from what I can tell, it's been going on for probably the past year to 2 years. So if you aren't aware, like I wasn't for a little while, is there is a ton of Pokemon cards, Scalpers out there. So essentially, what that is that is someone who is either as someone who works at the store, or they do work at the store, or they just get there super early and they buy all the newest cards, packs, boxes as soon as they get into the stores. And so what they essentially will do, and we'll use currently like one that's currently going on, we'll use Champions Path right now. Um, so in stores, a Champions Path Elite Trainer box is pretty much $40, but yet you'll find them online, on Facebook Marketplace, everywhere, somewhere between $100 and $120. And why that is they will go into a store and they will buy every last one of them, and they'll go to as many stores as possible, and it's more than one scalper, or it's someone really, really good, capable of going across the nation and buying them from every store as fast as they can, as best as they can. So they'll go to Walmart, Target, Big Lots, any card stores, anywhere they can go, multiple of those same stores, and they'll buy that out. So they'll take the risk of buying like 100 of these boxes at $40 a piece. So they'll buy like 100 of these boxes. They'll basically spend $4 grand, but then they're going to sell them all for $100 to $120 each. And as far as I'm tracking, they do sell a pretty decent amount of them themselves. But what they don't realize, or they just don't care, I think they don't realize, is they're shooting themselves in the foot. Because what they're doing is, if you don't let someone new into the hobby, and this is preventing people from getting into the hobby, um, that would be new. They're forced to use the old stuff. They can't get in with the new stuff. Granted, a lot of the old stuff still sits in the stores, but a lot of people don't want the old stuff, obviously, unless you're talking like original collectibles. But people playing the game don't. They want to start with their own series. People their age group want to start with their own series. So you're preventing, whenever you do this, you're either delaying or you're completely preventing a whole new generation. You're just preventing them from getting in. And so what this does is, as people get older and they hit, like, I don't know, let's just say 50 years of age, and they decide to get out, well, you've cut off someone getting in, and people who hit, a point where they either die or decide to stop playing or collecting get out. 50 years is just a number I picked, but eventually people will get out. And if you prevent people from getting in, then you stop the flow. And so what this does is and the best example is like the housing market crash that happened like 10 plus years ago. Is homes were originally worth 100 grand. When they're in stores, when the cards are in stores, they're $40 for the box. Homes were originally worth 100 grand. Well, people realized that if they bought up property, because there's a limited amount of property, they could charge whatever they wanted as long as they could keep it feasible. So they bought as much property as they could at 100 grand a piece, and then they sold as many properties as they could at 130 grand a piece. And then someone else bought all those, seeing the chain, and they sold all those for 170 grand a piece, seeing how far they could take it. And then someone else bought those and took those to 225 grand a piece, and then someone bought those, and then eventually the chain stopped. So someone got stuck with buying all these at 225 grand a piece, and then eventually the chain stopped. Well, why did the chain stop? Well, one, because of the exorbitant cost that was involved with getting to here. And so something that would still, has its level of increasing over time. Maybe at this point it was actually only worth 105,000, but now someone's trying to charge like 250, and that now they're stuck with paying 225, and this causes a huge issue for people who don't want to let go of their losses, foreclosures, and this is the same thing with what's going to happen if it's not as drastic. Granted, what tends to happen is when a new set comes out, the things the scalpers were using goes back into stores and they start scalping the new thing. But this isn't going to happen until the newer set comes out and they stop scalping the new thing. So we'll always be a set behind. And I know like the Pokemon actual company is aware of some of the scalping practices. They were aware of card weighing, pack weighing, stuff like that. But this is just one more reason to be more upset at scalpers. And I have no issue with someone who happens to, get ahead and maybe like get some packs for 4 people. That's one thing, and I have no issues with people trying to turn profit, but I want them to be aware of what they're doing. And kids don't generally have $100 to $120 to spend on one box of cards. When I was a kid, like Theme decks, they ranged from 20 to, some of them I remember being like, some got up into the 40s, and it would take a while to save up $20. To expect a kid to reach $100 to $120 to buy one box, it's just not going to happen. So this is going to be stuck for the adults, the collectors, the people who are trading, the people who are, who happen to have a decent amount of money saved up for this. It's not going to be the kids, and you're killing out the generation by doing that. You're killing out future customers, basically, and that's the issue. So, let me know what your comments and thoughts are on this. I just think it's another reason to be upset at scalpers. I would personally like to be able to get a box to open. I know that like pack openings are definitely good. People aren't asking too much for Darkness Ablaze, in my opinion, because it's roughly, they ask for like $100. That's pretty much like $3 a pack. But a lot of people are asking way too much for Champion's Path Elite Trainer box. It goes for $40 in stores. People are asking for $100 to $120. Of course, that will eventually fall off, but it's going to make people want to get out of the game. You have to understand, people who are treating it for really collecting and money building and investing are people who are kind of 18 and up. I would say I've met people as low as 18 who kind of got into this for the flipping and the high-end collecting. But in terms of general kids, you're talking probably, I remember people being as young as 6, generally 6 to 13-year-olds, and some people still into 14, 15s. So you're cutting out generations. They're putting a bad taste in their mouth. And yeah, sure, you're gonna make a couple bucks in the short run, scalpers, maybe for another year or so. But if you keep it up, you're gonna kill out all your customers. You're gonna kill out the need for it, and then it's gonna also affect the people who are in this for a little bit, for a longer run. We'll probably have a bounce back, but what we can expect is this is currently how the path was going when people went into Pokemon, and that created the huge rise in need for scalping. Scalping kind of slowed the graph a little bit, and then as scalping continues and starts to become more aggressive and increase, we'll start to see the interest in the Pokemon game itself start to fall. Eventually, we'll reach a point to where it's only a very limited amount of people who really want to get into it. And then it will kind of just steady line for a little while if it doesn't happen to get murdered by the scalpers, in a sense. And if it doesn't get murdered by the scalpers, then of course it will go back on its trajectory. And we'll probably see a cyclical pattern where scalpers start again at some sort of peak. So we can expect this to continue. But what we're going to have, or at least some poor scalper is going to have, just like I mentioned here, is some poor scalper, I don't really feel for them. Some poor scalper is going to buy however many of some sort of pack. They're going to buy it from the stores at $40 per pack, right? And they're going to get these things. And let's say they buy like 100 to 10,000 of them. They go overboard. They use their life savings. Some people only have $4,000 of their life savings. Some dude or girl is going to spend $4,000 of their life savings on a pack, or on however many packs, and then at the very same time Pokemon's going to release some newer card series, and it's going to make these pretty much no one wants, and this person's going to be stuck with either a loss of trying to sell them at a cheaper price and people are going to think it's a scam, so they're not going to buy from them, or they're just going to be stuck completely, or they'll be able to break even maybe, but slowly over time and lose all the potential that they could have from their interest, and so. Yeah, it's going to happen to more than one scalper, especially when we see this decline. It's not going to affect just the new cards. This decline is going to have effect on all the card collectors, buyers, and sellers because well, the good news is this will be a good point to buy cards. We're going to see a gigantic decrease. You know, it was just a year ago, 2 years ago, that a PSA 8 base Charizard Holo was like $200 to $400. Now a PSA 8 base Holo is above $1,000. It's closer to $1,200, $1,500. So that's base normal. It's not Shadow. Shadows is way higher, but we'll see that again. So that's a good point to rebuy cards. But people who may have been holding on to cards to sell at an even higher price, they're not going to get what they expected. It's going to be a downward trend if scalping continues, because it's going to drastically decrease the people's interest in the game and collecting. I know this isn't really a fun video, but this is kind of how my series started way back in the day, to where a lot of my stuff was more the financial side of this, and this is the trend we're going to see. I think a high-end scalping, as in, you know, it being to where they're cleaning out stores, kind of only started a year to 2 years ago, and I would say some kids don't mind, because they don't know. They just see Pokemon cards. They don't even know that a new series is out unless they're seriously following it on YouTube or they're following the Pokemon websites, which there are a good number of kids that do. But yeah, this is what I expect. I don't know the year for this to happen. 2020 has been a good year for trading cards in general, not just Pokemon, but all trading cards. But I would say when COVID ends, which is probably going to be either soon or right at 2021, I'd say this is probably the 2021 point where it flattens out. And then I would say probably at 2022 is when we're going to see a gigantic downward trend. And this is going to be in a short period of time. This is going to be probably a 2-year span. So the next good time to buy will be 2024. 2024 to 2026 will be a good time to buy. There will probably be some Pokemon movies, and there'll probably be one more Pokemon movie that really gets people back into it of some sort. And then by 2020, and this is going to be a short period, it'll be a short flip. It'll be 2027 will be another good time to sell, and then we'll see the scalping trend start again. I think this is a pretty predictable pattern. I think it's a pretty easy thing to see. I think my years are fairly accurate. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm certain this probably piqued some of y'all's mind, at least for my older audience. My younger audience, take note. Hold on to your cards at a certain point. If they start going down, I would say hold on to them. I would say Pokemon's not going anywhere, gone forever. This is just a predictive pattern. Clearly this hasn't kicked in yet. We're at a pretty high peak to where cards are really hitting some really high numbers, but usually when things go up, things will come down. So good news for those who are saving up their money and haven't bought cards yet. And the people who've already bought cards and were expecting to sell, like, you can do it, but you'll probably have a little bit of time after 2021 kicks in, but you can expect that after 2021 kicks in, you can probably expect a fairly large decrease in the value of your cards. And it's not because they printed more of them. Like, it's not like they're going to print more of base set 1 or base set 2 or older cards. It's just simply the interest and demand for the cards will more than likely drop, and I expect that to happen soon. Sadly, because I just kind of got into this, and my cards probably won't be here till mid 2021. So search for me, I guess, and anyone else in this boat. I was going to do some more videos tonight. I had some binders to go through. I have some more giveaway ideas, but maybe another day. I'm sorry to delay my people who love my giveaways. But hey, the giveaway prizes, those 3 envelopes, are on their way and out. So congrats to those 3 different winners. Keep your eye open and enjoy. And as I said, I'm really interested to hear what anyone thinks. Let me know in the comments. Bye.